Hi folks, and welcome to How's It Ray. Today we are going to make Italian meatballs using a juicer. Yes, that's right, using a juicer. So here we have our juicer. It's an Omega 8006 juicer, and it's used for juicing fruits and vegetables, and it's what's known as a masticating juicer versus a centrifugal juicer. So we're just going to go over our ingredients today. Okay, we have 2 whole Italian long hot peppers, 1 fairly large bunch of parsley, 2 whole onions, large, 1 whole head of garlic, peeled, 6 eggs, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, 1/4 tablespoon of Bell's poultry seasoning, 1 tablespoon and a half of black pepper, 1 tablespoon and a half of salt, 3 medium carrots, and 3 pounds of ground beef. And last but not least, 1 loaf of American white bread, fresh, which has been crumpled up or torn into small pieces. So, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our juicer. Excuse me. And we're going to run our pepper through. Now this is a masticating juicer, so it squashes things. It's a little slower than the centrifugal, but it's a lot quieter, and it really gets all the juice out. So here we go with our pepper. It's starting to feed in, and you can see the juice just pouring out of the bottom. And we're going to help it along. Now the only thing I'm not thrilled about with this juicer is that the throat for the food is a little bit small, but the end result is so good that I can put up with it with no problem. You'll see this thing does a great job with just about anything you shove in there. So in goes our parsley next. Okay, and the pulp coming out is very, very dry. Put our parsley in. Smells great. And again, you can see that the pulp coming out of here is really, really dry, so it's getting all the juice. This juicer is fantastic for leaf vegetables. Excellent job. Lemongrass, it just gets all the juice right out. I'm running these materials through first. The last one I'm going to run through is the carrot, because it seems to get everything out of the juicer. Okay? Oh, if you could smell this, unbelievable. Just the pepper and the parsley alone at this point. Now we're going to put in our whole head of garlic here, which has been peeled. Now we're starting to get some aroma. And the onion, which I've cut to size so it'll fit down the chute. And again, this is 2 whole onions, large. And then they're going in the juicer. Oh wow, it's starting to smell pretty good. Piece of garlic I missed there, we don't want to lose any of that. I love garlic. I'd rather have a little bit more than I need than less. I call it the queen of the kitchen. Very versatile. Use it in so many different dishes. It's just an amazing thing. I love garlic. Onions are the same thing. You can use them in just about anything. And this thing is really starting to smell great. So the masticating juicer is a little bit slower than a centrifugal juicer. And as I mentioned, it crushes the food and extracts the juice, whereas a centrifugal juicer actually shreds it into little fine particles at very high speed, and the little particles are spun around real fast against the screen, and the juice separates from the product. It's almost like the spin cycle on a dishwasher. Creates a lot of friction, they say, in the process of doing that, which can damage the nutrients. I don't know about that. All I know is that the masticating juicer really squeezes the juice out of things. Much quieter, a little slower. Hey, but I love to cook. A little extra time doesn't bother me. You can hear this thing squeaking and grunting, not straining at all. By the way, this particular juicer is very easy to clean. I'll show you when I take it apart. It comes apart very easily, and it just gets rinsed under the sink, and it's no problem. Actually, the centrifugal juicers are quite a problem when it comes to cleaning, getting all that pulp out of the thing. It can be a chore, and you can't submerge the electric parts. So this one here, the whole thing comes right out, which I will show you. Okay, so we've got our pulp here, okay, and most of the time you would be discarding this when you're juicing. And I'm not a big juicer, but when I do drink juice, I like fresh juices that I know don't have a ton of additives in them. My favorites are like carrot and apple juice on its own. Sometimes I'll put a cucumber through there, celery, and it's really good. It tastes good. I don't do it for health reasons. I mean, if I could, I'd juice an 8-cut pizza with extra pepperoni and cheese on it. That's how I feel about it. But the juices that come out of this thing taste absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And what we're going to do is we're going to just sift out some of the stringy parts of this. Okay, that's from the parsley. Really isn't much left of the stringiness, but that I do kind of just sift out a little bit. Alright, and that's not hard to do. You just reach in there. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to juice our carrots. You can hear them crunching away in there. I like to use the medium ones because they fit nicely in the juicer. There she goes. Put the last one in. You can see that juice coming out of there, huh? Thing does an awesome job. Again, this is the Omega 8006 masticating juicer. If you want, if you leave me a question, I can send you a link on where to purchase it. Okay, so there we have it. Everything that needs to go through the juicer has gone through the juicer. Alright, and we're just going to turn it off. And then we're going to discard these little parsley things. I don't like the stringiness of those. I mean, it's not absolutely necessary that you do, but... So we've got our breadcrumbs. What I'm going to do is dump what was left of the pulp in here. It's not going to hurt. It's all good vegetable matter. Okay. So we got that out of the way. And then we're going to add our juice right to the bread and the goodies there. Alright. Put that back under there. And then we're going to add our 6 eggs. Okay. And we're going to add our Parmesan cheese. Our 1/2 tablespoon of Bell's all-purpose seasoning. Actually, the poultry seasoning. 1½ tablespoons of black pepper. 1½ tablespoons of salt. Now at this point, we got to get our hands dirty. And if you excuse me a moment, I just want to get myself a towel. We'll be right back. Alrighty, back from getting the towel. Now I'm going to take my hand, and that's the only way to do it. You got to use your hand. And what we're going to do is mush this really good so the bread gets really mushed, okay? And you just reach in there with your hand, and you're almost going to have a meatball stage right here. So we mix. And make sure you really put your hand and make a fist and really squash and mush that bread right up. Get it mixed up with your vegetables, juice, and the pulp that we put in there. Now you might say, why didn't I just cut those up? Well, I'll tell you what. When you get the juice out of this thing, it just goes through the meat so nicely, and it delivers such an intense flavor. So I've got a nice mushy thing of juice and pulp and bread. Have a little extra juice here. Waste not, want not. Okay. I'm just gonna mix that around a little bit more. And then I'm gonna add my 3 pounds of beef. I like a lot of meatballs. I like them left over. They make great sandwiches. They're great with spaghetti. They're good everywhere. I love meatballs. Nice meatball torpedo sandwich, and you go wrong. Now these meatballs, when I make them, I don't fry them. I do them in an oven. And they come out very well. There's no need to fry them. At least not in this recipe. And I don't want to bore you. So I'm going to come back after I have mixed this thoroughly with my hands. We'll see you shortly. Hi folks, I'm back again. Before we form the meatballs, I just wanted to show you, as I promised, how this juicer comes apart and how easy it is to clean. Okay, there's a ring here with a little knob on it. We turn it to the open position, and the whole front end comes right out. This part is not dirty at all. Okay, not dirty at all. Take this part of the chute out. Ooh, little garlic clove. How'd that little sucker miss me? Alright. And unscrew the front. Yeah, not even a quarter turn. There's that part. This is the strainer. And this is the actual drive that masticates the product and takes the juice out. The housing, the filter is built in to that cone that drives out the juice right here. Okay, so none of the pulp falls into the juice. The pulp is driven out through the center. Okay, and there's a screen here that extracts more juice as the pressure builds up. And that's it, folks. I mean, just rinse this off. A little mild soap dishwashing liquid. It's a done deal. Can't beat it. A lot quicker than cleaning one of those centrifugal jobbies out. And as I say, it really gets the juice out of anything that you put in there. It's a great thing. You can make frozen banana desserts with it. Just take a banana, stick it in the freezer. Once it's frozen, run it through here, and you get a nice custard made out of banana. Things of that nature. You can make peanut butter with this thing. I mean, it's just an awesome little machine. So that's it on cleaning, and I'll be back shortly after I rinse this off, put the juicer away, and we'll start to form those meatballs. See you in a bit. Hi folks, I'm back from cleaning the juicer. We're ready to start making our meatballs. First thing we're going to do is take a pan such as this. It doesn't have to be quite this deep, but these meatballs are going to be making some juice. It's a lot juicier than the ones you're probably normal to making. So we're going to give it a spray along the edges, spray along the bottom, just a thin spray. Chances are they wouldn't stick anyway, but that's just a little insurance. Okay, we have our meatballs, or I should say our meatball material. And oh man, if you could smell this, I gotta get a camcorder that can pass on that smell. So I like to make my meatballs fairly large because I like nice sandwiches. Sometimes I split them, or sometimes I don't. I do eat them with pasta. I'm a bachelor, so I like my meal the way I like it, and I like large meatballs. So I'll take a handful of the stuff. Now, you're going to notice that this mix is much looser than what you're used to. Okay, and it's also going to have a little bit of color to it. It's going to have a greenish tint from the parsley. Now, it's probably not any more parsley than you would have added to 3 pounds of meat and all that, the bread, but being that it juiced, okay, it distributed itself very evenly and juicily. Is that a word? Juicily? Well, if it isn't, it is now. So that's our meatball. I'm going to place it right there. Going to get a little flat on one side, but I'll tell you what, those flat-sided meatballs taste just as good as the perfectly round ones. Again, we're going to make another one. It's a loose mixture. Alright? They don't all have to be perfectly, you know, the same size. It doesn't make any difference. The police aren't going to come and get you. Of course, they might in this day and age. Some of the stuff you see on the news. Alright, now, I don't want to bore you while I'm making a bunch of meatballs. So I will be back as soon as I have them all done, and we're going to pop them in an oven at 350 degrees. And we're going to leave them in there probably 45 minutes, but the good way to do it is just take a look at them, use a thermometer, and check the inside temperature. I like to see it get at about 150, and then I pull them out because they will continue to cook. I don't like my meatballs dry, but I don't like them raw either. So, see you in a few minutes. Bye-bye. Alright folks, and welcome to How's It Rate again. Our meatballs are out of the oven. They're all done. Now, I don't like to overcook them in the oven because I don't want them to dry out, and a lot of times what I do is I get a pot of sauce going and I drop them in the sauce and they continue to cook in there, obviously, and they do get a little firmer. The mixture that we made, if you made it, you noticed it was very loose. You can tighten that up if you want to make a smaller meatball, or if you want to maintain the rounder shape. You can tighten that mixture up by adding either a little bit more of the bread, a few more slices, maybe 4 or 5 slices, and the other way is to add a little additional Parmesan cheese. Now, when you add the cheese, you might have to cut back on the salt. Some folks might want to cut back on the salt just a little bit anyway. I like my meatballs a little tasty, and as I said, I usually use them in a sauce, so that kind of takes the saltiness out of them. These are, for me, the way I love them. Now, they smell absolutely delicious. So, let me show you what they look like. Again, this was a loose mixture, and I like my meatballs big. So that's what they look like once they're cooked. Okay? They're not perfectly round. I'm not going to get any prizes for being round. Nope. I'm not going to get a good prize for that at all. But what I am going to get is a very moist, delicious tasting meatball. So I'm going to try these right now without the sauce because I absolutely love them like this. I make sandwiches with them like this. I use them as a main meal and then with some vegetables, but primarily in the sauce. Great with spaghetti, and then you make a nice, you know, meatball hero and Italian bread. Oh, my mouth is watering. So I'm going to grab one of the smaller ones right out of here, and it shouldn't stick because we sprayed the pan. And here we go. As you can see, it's not perfectly round, but who cares? It tastes good. It's not going to be round when it hits my stomach. So here we go. What I'm expecting is a nice flavor of the vegetables that we put in there to come through. You should be able to taste them with no problem and distinguish the onion from the pepper. I mean, it should be great, and it should also be very, very moist and not dry. Let's see if it happened. Oh, Lordy. Look at that. Nice and moist. It's dripping. It's so moist. Let's take a bite. I know it's going to be hot. It's just tough to describe. All the flavors go together so well. I can actually taste that pepper. There's a little heat from that pepper. I can taste the carrot. Comes through beautifully. The parsley is so evenly distributed in there. It's a mild parsley taste, but I can taste it. The cheese, it's just awesome. And it's so, so moist. Look at that. I'll be lucky if I don't eat this whole tray. It's just that good. As I said, the only things you might want to watch out for is a little more bread if you want the mixture a little bit tighter so that you can make round meatballs if you're worried about the meatball police coming to the house. The other thing is add a little cheese if you want them a little bit more firm. Adding cheese will make them saltier, so back off on the salt. If you don't like a saltier taste, you may want to take that original recipe and back it off by a half a tablespoon of salt, just 1 tablespoon. It's trial and error to find what you really like. But what's fantastic about these juicer made meatballs is that the flavor is throughout, it's intense, it's delicious, and it's moist. So, I hope you found this video informative, and if you liked it, please give me a like. Hope to see you next time. Until then, be safe and have a great day. Bye.